There he is.
Craig, can I turn the phone like this or no?
Nah, it's sideways.
Okay. Let me see if I can turn it all the way around. Nope. Damn, now I gotta hold this sucker.
What's going on, G?
Not much, man. Trying to make it do what it do.
First of all, introduce yourself.
G Brown, not from New York, from Brentwood, New York.
Yes, sir.
What you want to know, man? Talk to me. You're gonna set the pace on this one.
Of course. First and foremost, happy Father's Day to all the real fathers out there. Salute.
Happy Father's Day.
Salute. Bernadette, Karina, I see you. We're just gonna jump right into this, man. So, for all those that don't know, this is Gary Brown, very good friend of mine. Create, I see you. What's up? Gary Brown, very good friend of mine. Over 20 years, I've known this guy. Phenomenal person, great vibes, great energy. And I'm very, very proud to call you my friend. You know what I'm saying? So, salute to you. I'm just going to jump into the questions on your journey because you've had a phenomenal journey, a lot of accomplishments. And I just want to know, and the people want to know, we're not going to go way back, but your heart and your passion was football, right? From what age?
Kind of, sort of. We're not gonna do the biography,
No.
And we'll talk about that later. But
yeah,
I like to just play. You know, of course, I'm a big dude, so I always like to play basketball. So I wish I was better in basketball. I love that more, but football just happened to be what I was able to do better. So that didn't discourage me from playing basketball. I even ran track, and I'm not even fast, you know. But I just like the team camaraderie. I like bettering myself. So actually, when I talk to kids, I tell them, you're not competing with the other team. You're not competing with nobody. You're competing with yourself. It's about making yourself better. And there's a lot of examples through life. And from when I was little to junior college to Division I college to professional to even afterlife, where you got to challenge yourself. It's not about those things. It's about you getting better as a person every day, whether it's in a sport, whether it's in a relationship, whether it's in work, whatever, you know?
Yeah, definitely. So, we're going to get right to your journey into the NFL because, you know, that's your main accomplishment of your life. So from college, you went to the NFL, you got drafted, right? What was the first team you got drafted to?
So coming out of college, you know, I went to Georgia Tech, the heart of Atlanta. And actually, I think you guys had just left because it was the draft weekend was Freaknik. And you know, everybody know what Freaknik is. This is before social media, before Facebook, Instagram, anything. Hundreds and thousands of students would bombard Atlanta and party from like Thursday to Thursday and then take off. And everybody would be like, well, that was the same weekend as the draft in '94. And so I was out partying the night before, hanging out like always. And the next morning, I didn't think I was getting drafted because there was people ahead of me on my team that was supposed to be drafted. And then none of them got picked yet. So I'm not going to sit home and have a draft party and everybody's like looking at me. What happened? Why didn't you get drafted? And I'm like, I don't know. So I was out doing me. And long story short, the next morning, I started getting a couple phone calls to my dorm room because we didn't really have cell phones yet. And I'm hanging up on them left and right. And they're like, then my agent calls. And he's like, Guy, what are you doing? These coaches are calling you. And I'm like, oh, wow, that's real? Back then, we used to play jokes on each other. And they would call you on the phone and record you. And then the next day you walk in the locker room, they play you. And, you know, just being a New Yorker, it's like, nah, you're not going to catch me like that, you know? So, but then I finally got through, and my agent was like, Pittsburgh's on the line, and they want to draft you. And I'm like, really? And I'm like, they must have been calling the wrong number because I'm here. Let's talk potatoes now. So a long story short, I got on the phone with Bill Cowher, and he was like, Gary, we think we're gonna pick you. And the very next pick after me was Green Bay. And so they were on the other line with my agent saying, we think we're going to pick you right after Pittsburgh makes their pick. I'm the only one that knows what's going on both phones. And so Pittsburgh picked me, and I'm like, thank God. I went to Pittsburgh, and the NFL is kind of like, when that thing happens, pack up, roll up, and ship out.
Yeah.
So I went to Pittsburgh, I had a couple of good preseason camps, and then they're going to put me on a practice squad. And to be put on a practice squad, you have to claim waivers, the waiver line for 24 hours, and then they can re-sign you to a new contract. And that's when Green Bay snatched. That's when Green Bay snatched me. So then roll up. I found out 11 o'clock at night. Flight leaving at 10 in the morning. Be packed and we're leaving here at 7. Like, wow, just like that. I gotta grab my toothbrush and go. You know what I mean? And
yeah. So hold on, how long you was on Pittsburgh before you went to Green Bay?
The whole preseason. I walked in there not knowing anybody, left with a bunch of friends, guys I bonded with, Greg Lloyd, Kevin Green, Bretson Buckner. There's a host of people that I was real cool with in Pittsburgh. I wanted to stay because that was like my rookie class, you know? Now I got to go join somebody else's rookie class, and they don't know me and I don't know them. It was a little awkward, but it happens every day, you know? And so I was in Pittsburgh probably about 6 months. 6 months to a little less. Just before the season started, I went to Green Bay. And there's some football stories, too. I don't know what you want to talk on here. We want to talk football, politics. You want to talk where we from. You want to talk.
We're talking everything. We're talking everything. But
I'm good with all of that.
I'm going to tell you something, right? Before we continue. First of all, I didn't know a lot of these stories, even the nitty-gritty, because even though I knew you a long time, we never really spoke in depth. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna tell the people how I met you, right? I went on a vacation, and before I went on the vacation, you wasn't around my circle. Even though we got the mutual friends, we got the same friends, you wasn't around because obviously you was in the NFL doing your thing, and you would come back every so often, hang out, then go back, right? So when I came back from my vacation, if you remember, we used to hang out at Nate's.
451.
So we used to hang out at Nate's a lot. So you and Skeeter was tight. So when I started coming around, I was asking, like, who's this guy? Like, I didn't know your background. Even though I went to school with your siblings, Kim, Deidre, Tim. I knew them, but I didn't know you was their brother. So anyway, I kept asking, like, who's this dude? You know what I mean? But you had a good aura to you. You know what I'm saying? You had good energy to you. So I kind of was more curious to see who you was anyway. So long story short, we was playing cards. We was playing spades down at Nate's. And I don't even know if you remember, but we was partners against, I forgot who we was playing against. But we clicked. And then obviously, you know what I mean, the clubs, the bar scene, that came into play. But there was no looking back since then. You know what I'm saying? And for everybody that knows me, they know I observe before I start, you know, becoming close with someone. Like if I pick up a bad vibe from you, I'm gonna keep you at arm's length. But if we connect and there's vibes, I'm bringing you closer in. And me and you, man, we had a good connection from day one. Never had no problems, no issues, no nothing. It's been organic ever since. And like I said before, man, I'm proud to call you my friend. Salute to you.
I appreciate that, and I'm glad to call you a friend as well. Two things that stand out to me, and it means everything to me, and that's your code and how you treat people.
Right.
And there's people, you know, I'm not saying I can't be cool with people, and I'm cordial with a lot of people.
Right.
But I don't bring them in to my home or embrace them as that title as close friend if you're lacking those things. And one thing about you, you don't know how to sugarcoat it. You shoot straight from the hip as far as you're going to tell you how to, listen, I'm feeling this way, I got to get it off my chest. And whatever's whatever, how we handle it. But that's something that a lot of people and a lot of kids are lacking. Stand up for who you are. You know what I mean? Me and you never had a problem, ever.
Never.
Not even over cards. You know what I mean? And everybody's had a problem over cards, and it's because we respect each other to come at each other straightforward. There is no sugarcoating. There is no. If you tell me something, that is your bond, and I trust and believe that no matter what. And there's not many people that I could say that can talk to me and just tell me anything, and I'll be like, nah, Jit said it. It must be true. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's because you stand behind your word. You know, and we all know people who they could say something no matter what it is, and it's like I gotta fact check that. Let me go double back and see if what he's saying is really true or she's saying is really true. So I appreciate just you being the man that you are, and you know, I know today might be a rough day for you, and I thought about this last night, you know, with being Father's Day and everything, and I'm like, you know what better day to be here? You know what I mean? Because you're an inspiration to a lot of people. Some people may look at it in a negative way, but man, I told you I was in Europe before you were. You know what I mean? I lived there for 6 months. I said that's the small thing. You're gonna adjust to that. It's gonna be the other things you have to deal with mentally and emotionally. And you're a man of your word, man. You do what you say, and you say what you mean, and that means a lot to me as a friend.
I appreciate that.
Coffee.
I appreciate that.
Coffee, because it's still early.
Nah, that's the new G, man. What happened?
We sipping next. Football was good, man. And you know, we got the chance to hang out a little bit, traveling DC, Atlanta, Green Bay. You know what I mean? We had some good times, and I loved it. And it's lonely. I don't want. How do I say this without sounding messed up? When you got it, you need everybody else to have it. You know what I mean? Because then you can have a party. But when you're it, then it's hard for everybody to have a party because you're it, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? And us growing up and being able to do grown folk things means a lot to me. It means a lot.
No doubt. No doubt. I see you, Skeeter, in the building.
Skeeter? Ooh, wee.
But yeah, man, here's the deal. Another thing that I commend you on, right, is the giving back to the communities the way you've been doing it over the last few years or however long you've been doing it. And the last one, I was able to participate, and I admired you even more because even before I touched down, I said, yo, I'm coming. You know what I'm saying? I'm coming. I don't care how tired I am. I don't care. Smooth is my witness. We was hanging out the night before. I didn't get no sleep. I was still in the same clothes from the airplane. And I came to you because I said, I got to support what he's doing. And when I came there, it blew me away because you was feeding so many less fortunate families on Thanksgiving. And it was just like, that's on my level. That's what I like to do. You know what I'm saying? And I was just astonished by what was happening and how many supporters came to support you on the cause and the teamwork. It was effortless, and that's another thing, man. And I just want to congratulate you on that. And I want to know I know you got so many other things that you was involved in. What other charities or youth work was you involved with over the years?
I can't tell you that without telling you how I got into it.
Right.
I always wanted to do, when you're young and doing you always say, oh, I would go and volunteer and do that, but I'm busy. I would go and do this, but I got in late. I would go and do this, but I got something else to do.
Yeah.
When I was playing football was always on my mind. And then after I was done with football, I picked up a lot of jobs to make money so I could have the persona of still getting that football money, if that makes sense.
Right.
And I wasn't. I was just working my butt off. 3-4 jobs, bouncing at night, swinging a hammer in the day, doing whatever, security, everything. So
I remember.
So while doing all of that, I hurt myself, and I don't know how many people know this, but at one point I was paralyzed. I was paralyzed, stuck in my home, like crawling from my bed to the bathroom, like bad, you know. And my lady stuck by me and she held me down. and she told me don't worry about nothing, but it was really something that took the man out of you. You know what I mean? To have a 20-something-year-old intern come and have to clean your butt, that's how bad I was. And when you're at rock bottom like that, and I say rock bottom because that was the physical side, but then the mental side and the emotional side, and then when I came home to an empty house and had to deal with that depression and pain pills and alcohol, it broke me down. It broke me down, down, down. And I seen a guy on the internet called Nick Wojcik, who's like a quadriplegic. No arms, no legs. He had a little foot sticking out of his hip. And this dude was on top of a table, on top of a stage, telling a bunch of able-bodied people how to live life. And I'm like, damn, there's something wrong with this picture. I heard the message coming out of his mouth, but I didn't understand. Like, there was something bigger there. And then I'm like, it's usually some healthy person trying to tell a disabled person, oh, don't worry, there's services for you and life's going to be okay. And it's like, really? You walk a mile in my shoes before you tell me things going to be okay, And Nick's message was, you want to help yourself with your problems? Start helping somebody else with theirs. And
absolutely.
Soon after that, I volunteered at Big Brother, Big Sister. Didn't know how I was going to make it happen. I was still wheelchair bound. I couldn't walk, but I volunteered. And I was like, I don't know what you can use me for, but I'm here. And they put me to work. And I got a little that needed my help. He was a 6'5", 300-pound kid from Wyandanch. And my focus on him took my pressure off of myself and the focus on all my problems. I still had the same problems. I just wasn't going to bed and waking up with them on my mind. I had other stuff to think about. And long story short, I just knew that was the life I was supposed to lead. And since then, I'm on the board of directors for the Red Cross. I'm on the board of directors for the Guide Dog Foundation. And I'm talking about not like on a committee. I'm on the board where we're decision making and I'm fact proofing and there's so much negativity out there about what these positive places do. I don't even bother to argue them because it's a powerful thing. Like, they're out there. They're not at some calls. They're at every devastation around the world every time. Not sometimes, not when they feel like it, not when money's right. Everyone.
Right.
And I'm on the Guide Dog Foundation, and I'm on a great company. I'm an ambassador for a company called Play for Your Freedom, is where we go into the VA hospitals and we deal with veterans dealing with PTSD. And we get them out of the hospital and play football, volleyball, yoga. We break bread. We talk stories, sign autographs, take pictures, all of that stuff. And it helps them. And it's actually, we're doing it still to this day. We're doing it through Zoom. I have a meeting Wednesday. But, so I'm like, yo, and then I just knew it was for me. On top of that, now I got to make money. So I'm also doing real estate and I got other stuff going on. And you got to look at my new website, Dream 68, fire.
Dream 68?
It's Dream 68. I'm putting it together. And
what's the website?
Gary Brown, Dream 68.
Wait, is it www?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on one sec. Dream68.
.com.
Yeah. .com?
You got it?
Yeah. Just posting it.
Oh, okay. I got so much stuff going on through my mind. I'm trying to make sure I got the right thing. Yeah, it's Gary Brown, Dream68.com.
Oh, hold on.
It's all good. I think they both should lead you there anyway.
I just want to pin it real quick.
It's all one word.
Gary Brown.
Dream68. And the object behind that is just I feel that my platform, whether it's from football, with my nonprofit, my real estate, whatever I got going on, if it gives me a conversation and I can talk to some kids and let them know that their dreams can come true. Because where we come from, there wasn't no athletes, you know what I mean? You had a better chance of being a rapper or boxing, you know what I mean? But there wasn't no football, baseball, basketball guys coming out and winning Super Bowls. And it never was my goal. My goal was just to be the best me I could be. And it just kept taking me the next step. My career almost ended in high school. And me and my coach didn't get along, and he wanted me off the team, and I stuck it out. And then in junior college, I almost got cut. And I'm like, Coach, I didn't make the team. He was like, no, not really, but kind of. if you change positions, we'll keep you. And I'm like, and a lot of athletes right there be like, nah, if I can't play quarterback, I ain't playing. Or if I can't do this, I'm not. And I'm like, does that mean I made the team and I have an opportunity to improve myself to possibly play? He was like, yup. And I'm like, sign me up. You know what I mean? And so these little things are little now, but back then they were little, but that could have changed the course of my life in many different ways. You know what I mean? And I actually got a book coming. I've been working heavy on a book too. It's a series of books.
What's the name of it?
I didn't even want to say anything, man, because I wanted to hit the market hard and strong. The champion within, and it goes because a lot of people know me about being a Super Bowl champion, but I try and be a champion in all aspects of life and everything that I do. And it's a series of books are coming out, and there's going to be different short stories for all of them, and it's pretty fire. My brother and one other author had an opportunity of reading some of it, and they're like, "Yo, who did this? Where'd you get this from?" And I'm like,
"I'm on that. As soon as it drops, I'm on that."
Yeah, it's gonna be fire. It's gonna be fire. Like I always had the opportunity to write a book. There's people coming at me, do autobiography. I never wanted to do. This is what I did. This is how I did that. I never wanted to do that. Like I'm like it's not even my personality. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then I took a trip to Milwaukee recently, maybe a year ago, and the guy I was with, this guy named David Lionhoff from Play for Your Freedom, he went on the journey with me because we also did a VA hospital while we were there.
Right.
And then he said, "Gary, I want to write about this." And I said, "Go ahead." He was like, "I'll send it to you." And he wrote about it. And I'm like, and this was a year plus ago. This man hasn't stopped writing since. He's like, "Yo, I'm just going to keep, we do a Zoom meeting 3 times a week, 7 o'clock in the morning for an hour and a half, 2 hours working on this."
Dedication, man.
Why not, man? Why not?
Dedication, man.
Man.
You're passionate about. And that's what I noticed about you, man. Over the years, you've been consistent, man, at whatever you do. And a lot of people will get sidetracked or they'll, get discouraged. And I've never seen that in you, man. And I want to ask you a question. When you said you was paralyzed, I know it brought you down to a low point. Like, how did you, I know Bernadette was supporting you. How did you overcome it within yourself emotionally?
It was hard. It was dark. It was very dark and scary. Like, actually, it's written about in my book, and when I had to rewrite it and reread it, it brought tears to my eyes. Like, I would find myself in the house crying, and I'm like, damn, it's just letters on the paper, like, and it brought me there. But I think support, teamwork, my mom and dad, my family, and B and everybody, it's always been there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was still hard. They just made it a little bit easier. You know what I mean? To be able to count and call on somebody any time of night, any time in the morning, and they're there for you is major. So that was a big part of it. And then once I started volunteering, it kind of took me out of a dark place and kind of gave me a little direction on what I wanted to do. And then as I started exploring more, I started wanting to do my own thing. And then I had some help with friends that didn't do right by me. And then I'm like, the only way I could make this thing right and do it 100% of my heart into it if I control everything. So ever since then, I've been making my own moves with, little to nobody, because that trust issue is hard. And as a ex-professional athlete, you're taught that and you learn that while you're playing. But you wouldn't think that it comes at you in so many different angles. That NFL money been gone. that stuff. A year after I finished, that was gone. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so don't come at me trying to get G me, because I'm gonna look at you twice anyway, whether I had it or didn't have it. So I just continue to work hard and stay true to who I am. People like me. Some people don't like me. To each his own. I have no time, no desire, or even to deal with negative energy. People don't understand how serious negative energy is. It could suck the life out of you. Once I realized that, started helping other people and started getting. When you go around to somebody that needs your help, you can't. If you need my help, Jid, I can't go over there talking about my problems. That ain't helping you with. You know what I mean? So even if I didn't mean it, at that moment I see you, I'm gonna be like, yo, what's up, yo? And try and pick your positive energy up.
Right.
Now that's two people having positive, whether it's real or not, it's two people producing positive energy. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
If you get sucked down in the dumps and you get with another person that's sucked down in the dumps, now it's gonna be two of y'all sinking faster than you were. So
That's
once
right.
I tried to shift my mindset and give myself something positive to put my energy into, now you're having more time during the day with positive thoughts and less negative thoughts about your bad things that you don't got right. Because I don't care how messed up you are. I don't care how bad it is. I don't care what happened. There's somebody's got it worse, and they're doing better with it. You know what I mean? Then that's what, some of the things I talk about in the VA hospital. I'm like, that hundreds and thousands of veterans been in those chairs. Right. Some of them came in here worse than you and left better. Some of them came in here not as bad as you and left worse. So it's your decision. It's what you're going to do with it. So be the best me that I could be, man.
I couldn't have said it any better, man. Any better. How often you go to the VA hospital? What do you uplift? The veterans?
We deal with veterans that have PTSD. So a lot of that is stuff that happened to them, but they're giving it a lot of mental thought, which consumes them, or triggers them. So we go there, and I'll be honest with you, when I first got with this company, I didn't know what to expect. I just went to give support, and it was me and a couple other Giant players. We went upstate, and the veterans got off the bus, and they walked out smoking their cigarette butts, their shoes untied. They're like, what the hell are we doing here, Yeah. And after we stretched and got playing, it's like a little kid, that competitive energy. It's like you're playing in the sandlot. It's like us in Oak Park playing basketball, or you know what I mean? And they start tying up their shoes and taking their shirts off and sweating and diving and high-fiving each other. Great. It was all good. When they went back to the hospital, we got calls from therapists, doctors, aides. What did you do to Mr. Jones? Oh, snap, we're in trouble. What did we do wrong? And they were like, no, we've been trying to get this man to talk for 2 weeks. And now we see him in the hallway high-fiving people, laughing, joking. And the whole energy and this whole place is up because of these 20 guys that went to go play football. Right there, we knew we had something good. You know what I mean? And it's about transferring that energy. So we were in the VA hospitals at least twice a month, and we go everywhere from up in Syracuse, Albany, all over Jersey, Long Island. I'm in the Stony Brook and in the Northport, and Maryland, Virginia, California. So we go Wisconsin, but since this COVID thing started, like even before this came, if there was a cold going around in the hospital, they won't let us in. So we looked at it. We made a decision maybe 2-3 months ago when this all started that our physical contact year is over. So now we don't talk about problems without talking about solutions. So now we've hosted our 4th Zoom call, 2 with Albany, one in Jersey, and another place, 2 different places in Jersey. And now we're going to be doing 40 to 50 guys on the phone at one time, Zoom calls, and it's working. Like, it breaks up their day because they got it bad too. They got to sit in a room. You know what I mean? They're voluntarily in the hospital, and now they're mandated to a room. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's rough, So we try and break up their day and try and give them something to talk about, give them some conversation. And it's moving well.
So you mentioned the Zoom, right? So do you think, since this pandemic, obviously the social distancing and all that, do you think the Zoom is as effective than when you visit in person?
No, absolutely not. I think it can get the job done. It can serve a purpose, but nothing's bigger and better than that real live contact. You know what I mean? Like when I never write any speeches, any things that I do, I don't write it down. I might write down some thank yous so I don't forget some stuff at the end. But I feel my energy is off the crowd. Like I go in, and it doesn't matter. You could be 6 years old or you could be 60 years old. Actually, the 6-year-old is more challenging because if you lose their attention, you'll never get it back. An adult, all you got to do is be factual, have an opening, a body, and a closing, and they'll applaud. You know,
Yeah.
Kids, you can't BS kids. You got to shoot straight from the hip, and you got to keep them, on it. Because if not, they're gonna be like,
The
man, this guy
attention
ain't
span
talking
is,
about.
yeah.
They don't got
The
time for that.
attention goes.
But if you grab them with your tone and with your and you look at them eye to eye and let them feel you feel them, now you got them engaged like they're a part of it. So it's a little different. But I will say this, with the Zoom thing, me and you doing the same phone call over the phone and me looking at you is two total different things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it does have a place. It's great for business, where emotions don't play a part of it. You just need to get the, information out there, this, that, and the third. But what we do was a lot of human contact and a lot of emotional strings. So I would much rather be in person. Don't mind being on Zoom. It's a lot less miles I got to put on my truck and all of that.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
Zoom is the way forward, man.
All day. This thing right here. Let's talk. We talking, right? Let's talk about this pandemic.
We talking.
This pandemic, man, it's rough and it's uncharted territory for everybody. So everybody's gonna feel uncomfortable. So you can't say, "Oh, I'm feeling uncomfortable and I don't want to do this." Everybody in the world feels uncomfortable. So I just made it a mission of mine to come out of this thing better than I came into it. No matter when the end is, whether it's next week, next year, 3 years from now. And that real estate stuff has jumped out the moon with me because a lot of real estate agents are like, "Oh no, the pandemic, I can't do this, I can't do that." I'm new. I was grinding 4, 5, 6 deals on the table. You know what I mean? Before pandemic, a half of one. And that's just, I didn't let them tell me no. What do you mean no? Well, let me see what is open, and I'll handle those things and accordingly. And now, when everything opens back up, I just got 1 or 2 things to handle, and I'm on to it. But you can take this opportunity to grow, or you can use it for an excuse to sit back and do nothing. I'm using it to grow. I'm at this table hours. I got to remind myself to get up and walk around because I sit at this table, and there's always something for me to do to get better. Keep it going.
Absolutely. And I think this pandemic here has shown a lot of people how to appreciate the smaller things in life, because we took it for granted. Like, I've never seen this in my lifetime, and I'm sure you haven't because you're only a few years older than me.
No.
I haven't seen nothing on this scale where it shut down the whole world. You know what I mean? And it changed everybody's lifestyle, business approaches, businesses, however you want to look at it. Every department of everybody's life it touched. So now, me personally, I've been reflecting, and I've the things we took for granted before, I never took them for granted, but you know what I'm saying. You know where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
It's like you appreciate what you have instead of what you don't have. And I hope it wakes up a lot of people and they come out better on the other side, man.
Me too. I mean, this has been a rough. There's gonna be a lot of Corona babies. There's gonna be a lot of Corona divorces. You know what I mean? There's gonna be a lot. But it taught people how to deal with each other and how to handle, being in close quarters with somebody all these days and how to do different things for an outlet. You know what I learned? I learned how much money I spend out there BSing, whether it's lunch, a business meeting, whether it's, just saying I'm going to stop in for a couple drinks. I learned how much, that's not just money. Even more than that, that's more valuable time.
That's
You know what I mean? I could go in there and hang out and say I'm going to stop for a half an hour and be there 3-4 hours later.
Yeah.
Then I can scratch my head and be like, you know what I could have did with 3-4 hours in marketing, or 3-4 hours in database, or 3-4 hours in following up on some leads. That's money.
Right.
I'm spending money to have a couple of drinks to waste time to not go and make more money.
That's right.
Don't get me wrong. I still, I love to do it, but it's going to be at a margin. It's going to be when I get to it. That's later. That's not a necessity. I'm not knocking anybody. I'm telling you what works for me. You know what I'm saying? I ain't telling nobody how to live life, because everybody mind their own business. We wouldn't be in a situation we're in now with this whole world. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. So I want to get to something very exciting. When you was a part of history winning that Super Bowl in Green Bay, what did it feel like? Was it exciting? Was it shocking? Was it,
It
what was
was
your
it was surreal. Like it's like one of those things that happen, and you be like, "Yo, am I dreaming?" And then the whole moment's over, and then you're like, "Yo, I went through in a fog." But like I had an opportunity to bring my whole family down. My family from New York, Maryland. I have family
yeah,
from everywhere come down. I said, I'll bring
yeah.
everybody down, set them up. We have a Super Bowl party in a hotel, and a whole 9 yards, catered food, the whole. But I'm gonna need to just my brother, my cousin, and my father are gonna be the only ones that go to the game.
Right,
Because they don't
right.
care. I could give out 30 tickets and half of them don't even like football. You know what I mean? But they're going to want to go because somebody else is going. They don't want to miss out. So everybody
Yeah.
agreed. And we had a nice party. So after the Super Bowl, we're in the locker room. We can't pop champagne because it's illegal for an NFL player to have any alcohol on any NFL premise, any property. But
Okay.
our leader sponsors are Budweiser and Coors Light, but we can't drink it. Whatever.
Hmm.
That's another time. But when I got to the hotel and walked in the door with my loved ones there, and they were like, "Yo!" They were so excited, and I was like, "All right." Now that's when it started sinking a little bit more. And then the icing on
Reality
the
hit.
cake was, months later when you get your ring. That's when you're like, you take that thing home and you're like, "Yo, look at that thing, woo!" So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, man. That you got the ring on you?
It's in the room. I could go get it.
Go get that. I want to see it.
2 seconds.
Put that
All
up to
right,
the
where's our
screen.
camera at? Where's our camera? Oh, there we go.
Yes. Yes. That's what we
That's my
talking
baby.
about.
That's what all the fuss is about.
That's what we
And,
talking about.
I got to say something. We
Yeah.
talked about when you opened the show, you were like, you're known for this, you're known for that, but your football career, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And you're right. And I appreciate and I worked hard and I'm thankful for all of that.
Right.
But I open up a lot of my things telling people football, it's what I did, it's not who I am.
Yes.
And
Absolutely.
I use that platform to talk truth and to spread love and positive energy. But I don't let it define me for who I am. Because there's football players that take it and use it for
Yeah.
negative energy or whatever they want to use it for.
Yeah.
Um, and I just believe in balance, and I'm just trying to do my part to make this world, everything around me, myself, a better person and a better.
Yes. Very humble, man. You've always been a humble dude, man. No matter, even at the height of your career, you was humble, man. You know what I'm saying?
I think big dudes should be humble. You can't be big. My mother said you should be seen or heard. You shouldn't be both. So when I walk in the door, you're gonna see me. So I don't think I need to be outlandish and until we have our good times. When we get together and start dancing and and
But
and,
that's
and,
another
and
thing.
turning up.
That's another thing. You was never flashy either.
No, I try not to
You
be.
know what I'm
I
saying?
walk humble.
But that says a lot about you, though.
As a New Yorker, you're flashy when you're around your environment. But when you start traveling, you get very humble. I do. You know what I mean? I was one of those
Mm-hmm.
guys that's
Mm-hmm.
always, let me sit in the back, let me see what's around me, let me do this, let me do that. That's just where we come from, how we grew up, and how we roll. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and I tell, when we started the show, I said I'm not just from New York. I'm from Brentwood, New York, because I
Hey.
think Brentwood is a very, very, very special place. Like people don't understand. I mean, I got
Absolutely.
ties in Amityville, I got ties in Wyandanch, I got ties all over the place.
Hmm.
But Brentwood, especially where I grew up in my era,
Mm.
You know, at one point, going across Ricks Road was predominantly white, and going across Crooked Hill Road was predominantly black, and the middle was the only mixed section. You know what I mean? With Afghanistan and Palestinian and Chinese and Puerto Ricans and Dominicans and all of us. We were all right there. He said, you know, and don't get me wrong, the population spread quickly, but I remember back those days, man, and we, as the Garnett Park crew, you know, that little circle, that little 2 blocks where I grew up, we got picked on, and everybody wanted a piece of our territory, and we fought for it, tooth and nail. You know what I mean? And we still protect it to this day. That's our neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's the way we grew up. But we grew up respecting other hoods. We played hockey, lacrosse, and soccer against one side, basketball, football, baseball against another, handball against another. You know, and that's just who we were. And we were a band of brothers. And I take that same method and mythology and move forward. And here we are today, clicking with what works with us and staying away from the people that don't.
Absolutely, absolutely. Hey, man.
Brentwood.
I'm gonna say this before we end, right? Morals and integrity is what you've always been about. And I've been around your family plenty of times, and I gotta salute them because that's who molded how you became. You know what I'm saying? And Mr. Brown, Mrs. Brown, being around them, I used to always say to myself, this is why Gary's like the way he is. You know what I'm saying? Because I watch how they move, I watch how they talk, watch how they operate, I watch how they embrace people. And I said, this is why Gary how he is. Even the rest of your siblings, you know what I'm saying? And I want to salute Mr. and Mrs. Brown, man, and tell them I said hello, and I'll be over there soon and come visit like I did last time.
Yeah, they love when you visit.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And I respect them to the fullest, man. And that's why I respect you so much, because it's like we've been consistent since I've known you, man. And it comes, it's all about morals and integrity. You know what I'm saying? That's the conclusion. That's
it's me right here. This is me. Either like it or love it. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to change for anybody. I know I'm doing the right thing, and either you get down with it or you move out the way, you know, because I'm moving.
No doubt.
I don't got time to stop. I appreciate you for being who you are, Jit. I thank you for having me on, too. I try to check you out when I can and when you're going live and stuff. And get back to DJing, man. We ain't heard you spinning in a minute. I always rock you no matter how long. We need that.
But yeah, man. Happy Father's Day. Thank you for everybody that joined on today. Happy Father's Day to everybody on here. And
happy Father's Day,
enjoy the rest of your day, man. Go enjoy the rest of your day. Tell Bernadette I said hello and the rest of your family. And thank you for coming on, man.
Thank you for having me, bro.
Something else.
I was waiting for this all day. This made my day, man. Thank you. We'll wrap soon.
Appreciate you, bro. Yeah, I'll
love
talk to you
man.
soon, all right?
We'll wrap. Yep, later.